They celebrated the defeat of a nuclear giant in the piney woods of northern Louisiana's Claiborne Parish today. Little David had stood up to Goliath and won. The small communities of Forest Grove and Center Springs, total population about 250, have been fighting against heavy odds for 8 years.
You ain't went nowhere.
Ever since that day in 1989, when politicians announced with great fanfare that a huge consortium, Louisiana Energy Services, was going to build a uranium enrichment plant in their backyard.
I think it'll help get us out of our economic crunch.
But now residents here, almost all of them African Americans, say there was a problem from the beginning.
They didn't come around and ask us about whether we wanted it or not.
They didn't consult anybody in the community?
Not in this community.
Like her neighbors, 78-year-old Essie Youngblood, the granddaughter of a slave, was concerned about the health hazards associated with toxic waste and the disruption the plant would bring to daily life.
You think of the whole United States, why couldn't they carry it somewhere else?
Tony Johnson, who joined in the fight, says he knows the answer.
There's been a pattern of this for probably 50 years. They have been, plants locating these type of very dangerous facilities in basically minority type areas.
In a precedent-setting ruling, a 3-judge panel of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in effect agreed with that argument when it denied a permit for the plant. It found evidence strongly suggesting that racial considerations played a part in the site selection process. This is the first time a permit has been denied under President Clinton's 1994 executive order requiring federal agencies to consider environmental justice concerns when granting licenses. Louisiana Energy Services has asked the NRC to reconsider the decision.
Industrial development is in jeopardy if this is allowed to stand, because all across the South it'd be very hard to locate a plant, and then you'd have to go through this and to fight the environmental justice.
Poor communities like Forest Grove and Center Springs stand little chance of stopping a project like the uranium plant by themselves. But increasingly, as was the case here, they are finding new allies in the fight for environmental justice.
And environmental justice is nothing more than saying that all communities have a right to equal protection of the law, clean air, clean water.
Robert Bullard is director of the Environmental Justice Resource Center at Clark Atlanta University. His expert testimony was key in the decision to deny the Louisiana permit. There are 4 environmental resource centers at historically black colleges in the South. In addition, there are now at least 16 environmental law clinics at law schools across the country. Tulane University is the largest and most active in the field of environmental justice.
It's a chance for the law school and the university to give something back to the communities that they live in.
Students like Jackie Maloney not only get book learning at the clinic, they also learn firsthand how to handle environmental complaints. In this case, a landfill too close to a residential neighborhood.
This is the noise that we have to deal with.
Anytime you can go out in the field and learn something, it's much better than just reading it in black and white.
With environmental expertise and legal assistance more available to them now, low-income and minority communities have the tools to fight the disproportionate share of toxic pollution they have suffered in the past. Kenley Jones, NBC News, Forest Grove, Louisiana.